Do you know they said that self-esteem in a person matters. So if you're an insecure person, uh, you're going to be jealous of one's mother, right? Now, I personally don't think that I, am doing anything more than just interacting with my child who asked for my presence, right? And to be told that, you know, there's a level of respect. Like when I was around Jeanette Cooper, my ex's mother, I think she's more than willing and able to say there was a couple times where her and Sharon bumped heads, but I don't think that I felt that it escalated to the point where she was going to put her hands on me. I don't think like me, we might have exchanged words, but I don't ever think it rose to where I, interacted with Jeanette Cooper in a manner where she wanted to grab me by my throat and bang my head up against the wall. I don't remember being that disrespectful. When I text now, it's because I always tell her it's about Honeywell, and then I felt like she was a voting person, and then I felt like she was in a union at Honeywell, and then being in a union at Honeywell, she's got a union rep with the area union employees where, under the Honeywell union, like at Rainbow, I'm sure, the union is willing to back her, right? So then she had this protection from her job where, when in comparison to me, I didn't have that backing with 663W, number one. Although they could have backed me. They never said they wasn't backing me. But I wasn't retiring from 663W. I wasn't retiring from 663W, and they put my child through college where they felt like they had a stake in his education where they would back me, right? I don't ever remember Honeywell giving Jeanette Cooper money for Michael Cooper to go to school, specific to a private school, because of all the hours that she put in at Honeywell. I don't remember the union getting her a doctor to work with Mike Sr. as she worked at Honeywell and put in all them hours where they would be vested in Mike Sr.'s education, where they would back her and say, well, we got you as far as Sharon's concerned, right? Because as far as Sharon's concerned, Sharon is saying, well, y'all never really had beef except for a couple of times, which, you didn't speak to her. The tension in the room was very sick. You didn't want her around, so Mike didn't even bring you to the crib, because your mama don't want you there. He told me one time, my family don't like you. That's why they don't invite you nowhere. I was like, bet. That's okay. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt my feelings. Number one, because we ain't even together no more, number one. But, we had Zymir, so they're supposed to put their petty differences aside. But see, they're that petty that they can't do that. So then you take into account that they've got that much hate, which could be bred from envy, right? Because in theory, me and Jeanette had the issue with, like I said, she put me out once with Shayla and little Mike. Right, Mike was in a car seat. Car seat, carrying him like this here, and then Shayla was in my arms as me and Mike Sr.'s leaving and jumping in a Pontiac. And then we went to 1606 Thomas. And we were at 1606 Thomas for a short time. My mom didn't like his behavior, and mom's, she didn't like his behavior. She was fucking with me and fucking with him and made him uncomfortable. So he ended up going back to his mama's house. But then he begged his mama to let me come back, right? And that's where you have that tension. Took her like a whole year, some shit, right, to speak to me, right? She put me out, because she said my nephew couldn't come to her house no more. Because Mike Sr. didn't play with Antonio Jefferson the way he played with Pooter. And she told me that Pooter couldn't come no more, so Mike could bond with Antonio. And I felt the type of way because, number one, that wasn't Antonio's dad. And the problem was that Antonio at that time was young, and he would get mad at the game, and then he would throw the controller. He would hit the game box with the controller, which would mess up the game. You know, if you break it, you got to pay for it. And Lisa wasn't going to replace it, and Jeanette wasn't going to replace it. So then he just stopped Tony from playing the game. And then when he would babysit Tony, and Tony would be at the house on 24th and 5th, Lisa, and he would do that shit there, but he left him with me because Lisa would be at work and Tony was there with me. He would get mad, throw that controller. I had to tell him I wasn't babysitting this little badass no more because, you know, he would throw tantrums, you know, kick shit, throw shit, you know, and he was a chunky, stocky little boy, so, you know, I didn't want to be bothered with that madness. I think I had Shayla, who was little at that point, or pregnant with Shayla, I can't remember. We'd have to look at the timing and then figure out the age of Shayla compared to Antonio, you know, because that's when I lived at 24th and 5th. Lisa was working at that Super America, Franklin and Nicollet, was it? Tiffany and Lisa was working at that Super America, and then Tiffany got the job at the motherfucking welfare department, and then she was working at the welfare department. Them bitches, when he said they didn't like me, I'm thinking, who gave a fuck, right? Because in theory, Andrea lied, said I was gay, right? She never said it to my face. So you figure if you can't tell somebody to their face what's real, then it must not be real. You just a liar. So then Mike would have to stand in the room and say, this is what Andrea told me. But see, he got memory lapse now. He don't remember certain things. So then he's not a credible witness for anything, because if he remembers certain things around the same time, but he don't remember this, he don't recall, then that's lying, we call that, withholding information. He wouldn't be credible, you know. So you have to think about it that way. And they said his heart surgery would make a difference, but I didn't believe that. You know, like when he asked me, was I on crack, I got real mad. I got hella mad. Like, motherfucker, when in my life did I ever do crack? Like, you know, I remember when I gave you, like, I got 210 in general assistance. I gave this nigga 150 to get an 8-ball. And then he got the 8-ball, and then he took the 150 and made it 300. And then we had to take the 300 and use 250